everybody. Oh, I'm a little late on saying hi. What happens is I see the elapsed time. Once it gets to 6 seconds, for some reason, that's when the actual stream starts on YouTube. But because I don't stream on a computer and I stream on my PS4, in order to upload my save to the cloud, I have to quit out of the whole thing and then start again. If I'm back, I'm going to let everyone file in and, of course, check to see if things are working. I might, chat after I beat the game because I don't know if it's clicked that I've beaten Elden Ring after 3 years? It's been 3.5 years. I've played Elden Ring, and I've streamed Elden Ring, and I've been through all of it. I don't think it's clicked. That, and I think that this game has kind of, worn through, my patience. I am so done. I've been done for, a while. But also, I'm still very happy and very proud, and I think that in the grand scheme of time, sometime later, it will hit me what a huge impact that this game has had, and, what this game has carried me through. And it's hitting now. It's meant a lot, and it's been there with me through some of the worst times. I'm crying right now, sorry. But yeah, it's been a huge journey, and I'm it's time for it to go to bed. It's time for the journey to end. But what a journey it's been. I say often that this game and the DLC are just, it's a miracle that it exists. It's flawed, and I will gripe and I will complain, but it's one of the best games of recent years, for sure. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna check my laptop and let anybody who was here file in. I think I had about 7. If they were actually, this is a good opportunity for me to leave, that's fine. Hi there, Freeman. Yeah, it's been it's been a doozy. A rough few years for me as well. Been through a lot of things. And somehow, I'm still here. But, maybe that's a good thing. Who knows? I'm still here. Okay, there I am. My mic is working. I'm just gonna... Sorry for all the emotions. And I was it hasn't hit me at all. And then it just hit. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god, it's my last Elden Ring stream. That's crazy. I might stay in chat for a little bit after, but I want to get that ending. I don't think I've ever seen the Age of Stars ending, cutscene all the way through, but I've seen a lot of it. I've seen, her with the giant dark moon in the back of her. Yeah, honestly, I think I kind of enjoy, I really kind of like that I didn't defeat Radigan before the DLC, because of all the context that you learn in the DLC, this makes a lot more sense to me right now. And the fact that, Radigan, to his very last, he, defended the Golden Order and defended the Elden Ring within him, whereas Marika wanted it gone because it was shackling her. And then Radigan is here defending it because that's something that he dearly believes in, even if it means that, elder gods are interfering with the lives of both mortals and the gods of this world. And then in the end, he's used as just a tool for an elder god, the Elden Beast. So the utter cruelty of it is laid very much bare to you. So that really, it makes Miquella's journey and everything he sacrificed makes a lot more sense when you understand that. So playing Miquella's journey and having a deep understanding of it, because I've looked at it from a lot of angles, and tried to be okay, is Miquella as evil as people say? Is he not, or is he innocent? And I'm no, he's somewhere in the middle. He's somewhere in that middle ground. But I think his intentions were good. They say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but at the same time, I don't think that he wanted to usher in hell. Somebody mentioned also, I wanted to address in the last stream, they talked about, there was one item No, I think it was the finger reader had it. It was, I think, the spell that Mikola used that created that pillar of light that like destroys everything inside. And it's like saying like me and my champion, that's all I need. I don't think that was like a genocidal quote, which is what the person was saying. After and this is like Smotown in my ear, but after watching Smotown's video, I think it makes a lot of sense in context to say that in terms of like you are an interloper who is coming in when Mikola finally gets what he wants and becomes a god, despite all the consequences and everything that means for Mikola and the world. You come in, you're an interloper, and you really are threatening the age that Mikola wants to create, because Mikola wants to create something completely different. I like Smotown's comparisons to Ranni as well, because Ranni does something very similar to Mikola, but she uses the system that's in place and then meets basically like an outer god. She meets the dark moon and then becomes an Empyrean of the dark moon. Just like how Marika and Radagon were Empyreans of the Elden Beast. So Mikola was able to completely break the cycle with all the sacrifices that he made. But some of those sacrifices weren't worth it, as we know. And what he did to make him into a god, super questionable at best. The fact that he like did willingly control people is an evil thing, but then half of them afterward, they're like, actually, yeah, I'm pretty cool with Mikola. I think it's fine. And I'm fine with the experience that I had. I'm like, oh, geez. Even Leto was like, I think without Mikola's influence, I am a very paranoid person. Like, I'm a worse person without his influence. I was like, wow. I was like, that was surprising. Well, whereas others, like, obviously Ansbach was just like, no, this is like, he's a monster for doing this. I don't think he's entirely wrong. But I do think he's wrong about following Moog. But I've talked about that at length and how, like, cults work and how he's like, he is a cultist. And he is basically like a recruiter too. It's like beating Garamond after Maria when you replay Bloodborne. It just feels right. Yeah, I completely agree. I think in my playthrough, the DLC was already out. I think it was the DLC that made me come back to Bloodborne. I'd stopped playing for a few months. And then the DLC came out, and then I was on like Pinterest, because this was back when Pinterest was fun. And I saw somebody's fan art of Maria, and I was like, who is that? And it created an obsession that has never truly left me. I was like, who is that? Who is that person? And then I got obsessed with Maria. Like, look, hello, that's Maria. She's still there. I have Mikola too. I forgot the name of the artist, but like phenomenal artist. I'm super happy to have their work on my walls. You're on my walls, my friends. Yeah, the Mikola ending got removed, but files were still in the game on the PC. Someone restored it. I don't know if I've ever seen that, but I have seen, I think Quelaag took this video off, but Quelaag had a video at one point called Mikola Keeps Me Up at Night. It was like a 3-hour long video about Mikola. A lot of like what I understand of Mikola comes from, I mean, obviously it comes from the game, but also comes from that because Quelaag found some of those missing files and put them in. Like, for example, like the sword that they put in the DLC, which was supposed to be like the sword, the twin sword of abundance and decay, which I think they changed. But my understanding of it was the sword of abundance and decay, where part of it was Melania, part of it was Mikola. Gay detected. Yeah, so true. That's me. Oh yeah, I love Maria. I adore her. I will never stop loving her as long as I live. Yeah, I guess that's like kind of what I wanted to talk about, like what a stream of consciousness like coming out of here. But I think in the end, when I think about, I'm kind of disappointed with like how fan reactions ended up being in this game. And like on one hand, I value the fact that it went mainstream, because that means that FromSoft is getting the money and the support that they need to continue making games. And that's what's important, because I would like to continue playing these games. They're some of the best that I've ever played in my entire life. They have changed me for the better as a person, I think, too. And have kind of been with me as I've overcome things in my own life that were very, very, very difficult. And these games sometimes tell you, just don't give up, keep trying. And that means a lot to me. But on the same coin, the fact that it went mainstream sometimes means that there's been like, I think, a rising problem with people with like zero media literacy, and I think that a lot of these people have flocked to playing Elden Ring, who like don't really understand, but they like to like say that they understand. And I'm like, it's okay to not get it. It really is. It's okay to be like, I don't understand this thing, you know, and not going to like weird grifters for lore. Like, oh no. And I feel like some of the lore people that I really did like are kind of doing it for the cash money now. But I think a lot of my core people that I've always liked, I still love. Like Aegon of Astora is so good. I love Sinclair and Sophie. I love them dearly. I think they're some of the best people in this community, that they're underappreciated. I think they moved on to different things, which I love for them both. Smotown, fantastic. I really like the Lore Hunter a lot too. There are others as well. Qualag. Those also, of course, Theomony. How could I forget Theomony? Diana, she's amazing. So those are like the ones that I always really liked, I still really like. And so if any of them have new videos and stuff, I try to watch, even though I have so limited time, which is so annoying. Some of the best like lore times that I've had is when I've either had like more time at the end of my work day, or if I'm like between jobs. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll watch Sinclair lore all day. I can. I'll do it because I can. Oh, cool. Frankie, I'd love to watch it. I'll watch it after this. Yeah, I think, yeah, I just wanted to like discuss all that, like, and kind of get that out before I did the ending, while letting people file in as well. It's kind of jarring for me to have to end a stream and start another one. And then this stream is going to be short as well. And I don't understand what's going on from Suffer. But yeah, honestly, the Freeman, that's one thing too. It was my friend and former coworker named Dennis. And he got me into Bloodborne. It was at a time where like I actually like didn't have a, long queue of games to play. I didn't have like a backlog or anything. And I had finished Eternal Sonata, which is a game that I love, that I had been like stuck on for a long time. It was like 2015, and I was like, I need a game to play. What do I play? Like, I don't even know. And so Dennis was like, you should try Bloodborne. And all I knew of From Software games, I was like, well, aren't those games that are really hard? And he's like, okay, you can play Devil May Cry, you can play Bayonetta, you can play a From Software game. I believe in you. I know that you can do it. So it was like, it was really sweet. I'm really glad he did that, because he changed my life. And then one day I went to GameStop and I saw Bloodborne on sale for 20 bones. And I was like, 20 bones? I haven't paid 20 bones for a video game. I feel like I robbed From Software by only paying $20 for the masterpiece that was Bloodborne. And I was like on and off Bloodborne. I took like a several months long break from Bloodborne. And I took another break once I got to Yahar Ghul, and like the whole game changed. I was like so overwhelmed. I took another break. But like it kind of made me, like, I don't know. I think a lot of the times, like, I kind of went through problems not by actually overcoming the problems, but kind of going around them, or like going on to something else. But I mean, these games, I think, made me brave enough sometimes to confront these problems head on. And that's a very scary thing to do. And I feel like not everyone can do it, because that's hard. Like, certainly I wasn't, like, not always. But like these games are going to be like, no, sometimes you need to do the hard thing, but it's worth it to do it. So like, I mean, last year I did, some of the hardest stuff I did in my life, I did last year around the time that I moved. Like, I changed my entire life, and like, it's been like tough. Like, it's not easy. And I thought that things would be like so much better and I'd feel so free. And I think I do, but I feel like the feelings of victory are more subtle than I thought, and the feelings of grief are more powerful than I thought. People that like were in my life that I thought weren't going to be at all, like, they're still there, because like I feel grief, and I feel like, I can't fully disconnect, and that's okay. So yeah, From Software has helped me with a lot of things. It kind of made me realize that I wasn't living for myself at that time either. Even in 2015, I was like, wait, I feel like I've been in a fog. I feel like I haven't been like doing my own thing, or liking my own games, or living my own life. I've been living a life for someone else. And like me kind of being like, I think I want to start being like doing things that I like, and there ended up being a tremendous amount of friction in my life. Sorry for talking about personal stuff, but it ended up causing friction instead of them being like, great, yay, I like you for who you are. No, it was quite the opposite of that. So, and then I was like, oh no, I do think I don't want to live in the brain fog anymore, living for someone else and never doing things that like I want to do, and like sacrificing a lot of like my own happiness for someone else. So I was like, okay, I think I need to live for me. And then COVID happened. So it was like a delay. Things got real bad. And so, yeah. And so I just kind of, ooh, boy, did I ever pull off the Band-Aid. And like, I realized that I couldn't do what I needed to do in like the apartment that I was in. I lived in that apartment for 9 years, and I was like, but no, I need to like pull the plug on this whole thing. So that's what I did. Hello, El Gusto. Yeah, I've definitely over-leveled on this too. It's a horrible story discussion on evolved into deranged debate that also encapsulates people's negative media literacy. Yeah, I would totally agree, Gobu. That's one of the things about, yeah, like long-winded way of saying like, I don't know if I love the way that the community has treated Elden Ring and its DLC. Like the community at large, but not like of course, like the core people in the community who like I hold dear, who I respect. Some I know, some I don't. But like my friends, the creators who like still to this day make excellent work. Those are the ones I will always believe in, but I think there's been a pervasive thing going on. I was a part of an Elden Ring creator server for a while. I think that ended up dissolving, or I got kicked out. I don't know. Because I was not like super online that day, and things happened. One time, one of the creators on that server found out to be like a right-wing grifter doing Elden Ring lore, and I think that's a part of it. Like a lot of the problems with the world seeped into the Elden Ring community as well. I think a lot of people enjoy living in the status quo, so they, embraced when that bled into our discussion of these games, despite these games very much going against the way the status quo is. Whereas I don't think that was really a thing before. If it did happen, that person kind of got chased away from the community, and I don't think that happened this time. There was like multiple times. I think, and then there was a second creator. Won't say the name of that person. I think they're still making stuff. Name starts with a Z though. But like, yeah, it's an almost identical situation happened with that creator as well. And I think around that time I was like, I think I'm good. I think I'm going to step back. Like I'm still going to love these games forever and love the friends that I made and the community that like is around me from these games. But I think I need to be careful now. So. Oh yeah, well oh dear. Did I spill some tea? But it was one that I happened to be in. I'm sure there are more than the one that I was in, but it was at least a year ago now. Might have been 2. But I think it was about a year ago. But I remember like on the day I was like on lunch break at work, and my phone kept like blowing up, and all of a sudden like this Discord just disappeared off my phone, and I'm like, what happened? I wasn't active on it, but I kind of realized from the beginning that these people boosted a few people on the Discord, but then ignored others that didn't really fit with the demographic of like what the right-wing grifters wanted. So it's like, oh boy, I guess I'm gonna peace out. Well, I didn't peace out, but I stayed on it, but I kind of muted it, and I only looked at it if I was like specifically tagged, because I was like, oh, I think I understand what's happening here. Like I can read between the lines. That was quite the day. I think I had to ask about it, and of course there are so many other creators that like the ones that I like mention and name that are like they're so good. I think Last Protagonist was really kind to me, and that server as well. I wanted to name Last Protagonist because I do not think that they were one of the baddies. Like, are we the baddies? They were not one. Oh, yeah. Frankie, do you remember? I want to just, like, kind of, like, hint to that person so that nobody thinks it's, somebody it's not. But, like, oh, boy, it was that one individual that kind of rose up in the community really quickly because his priority was, like, growing the channel. It wasn't sharing lore. It was, like, growing the channel so that it could be his career. So I don't think that he cared That's kind of like it was kind of like what in the beginning. I think that server was created because that individual did want to grow and wanted to build a community of people that could. We were supposed to help each other, but I feel like it was more like helping him specifically. And then there were, I think, women and queer people. I'll just fucking say it. There were women and queer people in that group who, like, they did not boost the way they boosted the, like, white male creators. And so I was like, I don't like it. Again, social currency and collateral. If you don't fit that certain categories, people may not help you the way that they help others. So, oh boy, I didn't expect to talk about this, as I kept so quiet about it because I was just like, I don't know, I'm not here to stir the pot. I'm just here because I like to create stuff and I like these games very much. So yeah, it's good. I'm glad. But yeah, Last Protagonist was super kind to me specifically, so I just wanted to like name Last Protagonist specifically because I hadn't named them before. So I was like, I'm gonna name them now so that everyone knows that they're fine. At least they were fine to me. They're always very kind to me. Oh, they're definitely good apples. There'll always be good apples, and I'll try to acknowledge those people specifically too. At least the ones that I know. And I'm a tiny little creator, so like no, I do not have clout in this community, so it's not like, so if someone's kind to me, I know that they're being kind from the heart and they don't have some kind of hidden agenda, you know? But yes. Okay, with all of that said, I think I will complete the game. I'm sorry, for some reason I am digesting. My body is like, let's digest now at 12 o'clock, even though you haven't eaten for like 4 or 5 hours. But cool. Let's clear the air. Let's summon Ranni. Oh, very exciting times. All right, let's do it. Now that I've gone through every single emotion and like 2 of the stages of grief, let's do it.
The battle is over, I see. I do solemnly swear to every living being and every living soul. Now cometh the age of the stars. 1,000-year voyage under the wisdom of the moon. Here beginneth the chill night that encompasses all, reaching the great beyond. Into fear, doubt, and loneliness, as the path stretcheth into darkness. Well then, shall we? My fair consort eternal.
Yay! So that's it. World created by Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R. R. Martin. Let's see, hold on. Let me see if I can save the clip. I can! Hooray! I think I'll do the rest of those endings on my own. If I ever feel like it going forward, I might do the, Wait, can I not do the Frenzied Flame ending now? I'm not sure. Hold, you know, I won't worry about it right now. Ooh. I'm glad. I like that ending. That ending was super rewarding. And again, the fact that I did the DLC, it has so much more meaning. Actually sent it a chill at my spine a little bit, knowing that, like, we're going into this age of, like, fear and despair. I think that hopefully is the fear and despair of change, but I don't know. It could be something different. And again, we're chained to an outer god, which is that dark moon, and we're the consort this time. I like how the creator of Ranni's character design woke up on the day and decided to fucking rock it. Yes! Oh, one thing. This music. I think this is Godric, the Grafted. Fantastic. I think because I was in the heat of battle early on, I don't know if I, like, was able to, like, sit back and appreciate the early music of Elden Ring, but I think I've been, like, really bumping up my, like, going to the gym this past year. Ooh, I listened to a lot of Elden Ring boss music at the gym. Listen to Godric, so good. It's running its head already. Oh no. You can still do the Frenzied Flame, you can fast travel. Yay! So, I mean, someday in the future, I might go and, like, do a Frenzied Flame, stream. I'm probably not gonna do it right now because it's midnight. And I am so ready for Alan Wake 2! I've been ready for 2 years! I thought that I could beat Elden Ring and then play Alan Wake, and that did not happen. Instead, I got stuck in, like, I think a lot of it was just, like, a lot of the things that I mentioned earlier in the stream. Just, like, all the, like, really, really big, scary changes to my life meant that I had to, like, put off a lot of streams. Sometimes I was looking back at my old, like, messages on, or not messages, but, like, my posts on YouTube community, and the amount of times I was like, I'm having a bad brain week. That was so real. And, like, oh, it's been a fight, especially this past year, but I think I noticed that I'm like, oh, I think I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm certainly in a better place mentally than I was a year ago. Now, probably is the dark presence in Cauldron Lake. Okay, the 3 minutes does make me feel a little better, because I often feel like I'm, like, last in the race. Nonetheless, I'm still in the race, but I'm last. I certainly am not going to win it, but I'm still going to run. Have you guys heard, speaking of, have you heard of this game called Uma Masamune? Not Masamune, Uma Musume. Horse girl or horse woman. And it's like these anime girls who are modeled after real life racehorses, and they race the girls. I have friends who, like, are obsessed with this game. I think it's so funny. I'm just like, you do you. Enjoy Uma Musume. Now it's over. What's your favorite and least favorite boss in Elden Ring DLC? Oh my god! I was one thing where I was like, if I do feel called to make a video, I might do like a bests and worsts. Like things I love and hate about Elden Ring. Because I have like things I adore, and I have plenty of gripes too. I'll think of DLC first because it's really fresh in my mind. I think all of Elden Ring will take me a moment to think, or I might say something now and then disagree with it later. Who's my favorite? I think in the DLC my favorite boss was Bale, the Dread. Not something I was expecting. But I loved Bale. Bale was like a perfect dragon boss, and like a perfect boss. I actually wish there was like a little more lore, but there was plenty of lore, especially where From Software is concerned. Oh, but I loved it. Truly, I think it was one of the highlights of the DLC. Honorable mention is Mesmer. I really liked that fight. That was very, very cool. To horse girls. Yep. It's a whole game of horse girls. It's like, it's called horse girl, basically. It's Uma Musume. Or like horse lady. I don't know how to properly translate musume. Musume is like a gentlewoman. Like a lady. Like the woman version of like a gentleman. Like it's a musume. Uma Musume, horse girl. Yeah, what is my least favorite boss in Elden Ring DLC? Definitely my least favorite boss in the DLC was the Putrescent Knight. I hated that boss. I think it was really badly designed. Well, not the visual design. The visual design is actually stunning, but the actual gameplay of that boss was putrid. It was putrescent. No, I don't I can't say I despise Moog. I think he was an extremely cool boss battle from a gameplay standpoint in the music. Mwah. That aspect of Moog was a masterpiece. I like how much we learned about Moog. I think Moog is a bad man. Like, he's a bad man. I think evidence shows. And one of my, like, weird special interests right now is, like, really delving into, like, how cults work. Because, like, I think I've never been in a cult, but I've had experiences in my life where I've dealt with some people who are, like, oh, real pieces of work. And I'm like, how did I get in with these people? Like, what happened? Because, like, and I've been through a lot. So I'm like, what happened here? Like, how did I get into this? And how was I close to these people who were, like, really bad people? And then I learned a little, I think there was a time where I kind of ran away from home and I started watching cult documentaries and I was like, oh my god, these cult leaders work a lot like these people that I've dealt with. Like, they're very charming and you really believe in what their vision is of the world, and then they pull you slowly into these, like, horrors. So I think that, speaking of, that's why I think of Moog. Like, Moog is basically a cult leader. I think he got people like Ansbach to join in, but he was really doing some nefarious stuff. But, like, in terms of, like, Moog as, like, gameplay and, like, the actual boss design of Moog, and the music was some of the best in the series. Moog's battle theme, so good. I like that he was there, and I like all the lore that we got to learn about Moog. But that's my opinion. I do not think Moog is an angel, or even, like, a good character or man. I think he took all the pain, he's like Marika, he took all the pain and suffering he endured, and surely made some evil out of it. Oh, boss fight perspective, I think it's amazing. I loved the Moog boss fight. Yeah, gameplay-wise, mwah, it was gorgeous. Music, stunning. The voice work from, oh my god, I forget his name. I forget who did the voice. I feel terrible because the voice actor for Moog is an actor who I dearly love. He was also in Our Flag Means Death. He played Izzy. Izzy Hands. And he was also Moog. I think his voice work is phenomenal. But yeah, from, like, a boss design perspective, I think Moog is, like, what is top tier. I think I'll leave it on this. You know what? I'll say no. Beginning Journey 2? Yeah. But I think Moog is a top tier, like, gameplay boss. For sure. And then with the main game, that's hard to say. My favorite and least favorite bosses. I don't know if I can think of it off the top of my head unless I see, like, a map. Oh my god, if I'm... Sorry about the sniffling. Still sick. But let's think about the bosses. Like, I need to kind of refresh my memory. So, Limgrave. We had Godric the Grafted. I think Godric the Grafted is... It was such a shock to me because most of the From Software bosses are, like, really big... I think big is such a basic word, but it really describes them very well. Like, very important, very solemn characters that you often feel extremely sad for. I think Miyazaki said at one point, it's like the sorrow of a majestic beast doomed to an, like, endless cycle of ruin, or something really similar to that. And I think that's the standard FromSoft boss fights or bosses. Where you can see George R.R. Martin and his influence is in people like Godric the Grafted, because I think that Godric the Grafted is a little bitch. And, like, it's obvious that he is. Like, he keeps, like, grafting different limbs and body parts onto him to seem big, when he's really the runt of the litter and everyone knows he's a pathetic little bitch. Okay, so I don't know, but I think the boss fight was really good. I struggled a lot actually early game with it. Margit, the Fell Omen. Um, I loved that boss. That was a great boss. I thought it was pretty easy, but that's because I did a ton of exploration before I got there. I know people who are like, "Oh my god, Margit was so hard." I'm like, "Oh, it was easy, easy as cake to me." But that's because I did, I think, like all of this and some of Caelid before I even hit Margit. So like, yeah, Margit was fine. I liked Margit a lot. Great, great boss. Godric, I think, was a well-designed boss. Um, Radahn was a good boss. I loved it as like a true testament to like the summoning ability in this game and like the fact that like this game encourages you to play with people and with summons. I am stubborn as shit, so I'm not gonna do that, and I'm gonna do it solo. But for if I felt that the boss was kind of BS and it very improperly balanced, I might have summoned for it. Or if I felt that canonically I should have people with me for the boss battle, I summoned. So otherwise I would do it solo. So those were the rules in my mind. Because I love a solo experience, but for Radahn, I did summon the NPCs, and that was fun. Like seeing Patches run away from the battle was like hilarious. Um, yeah, I agree, Yobu. He did have a Dark Souls 3 flair. I love Dark Souls 3 and I love the bosses. I don't know, that seems like a controversial thing to say now. I love Dark Souls 3, but I do. I had a lot of fun with it. Like, gameplay-wise, I think it was fantastic. I loved the boss battles. I loved the music. It was a great game, and I really, really liked it. High point in the From Software library. Godfrey is greater than Godric! Godfrey the Grafted! The Wish.com Godfrey. What you expected online. The Sheehan the Sheehan Godric the Grafted. Yeah, I think that if you didn't do like a ton of exploration and kind of like natural leveling, you were going to have trouble. Or if you're new to these games, like From Software games, you might have trouble with Margit. A lot of people did. I just was like, in general, I sometimes really struggle with bosses that other people do not find hard. And they're like, that boss isn't even hard. And I'm like, oh, it was hard for me. But then there are others where people are like, that boss was like impossible. And I'm like, oh, I had so much fun with that boss. I really liked that boss. Boss wasn't too hard for me. So I just think maybe I'm a weirdo. Renala was great. I thought that she's kind of a little bit of a gimmicky boss. I liked that it was like a true wizard battle. And it showed how terrible it was, like the awful impact of Radagon leaving. You could really see that in Renala. So lore wise, I think this is a fantastic boss. Gameplay wise, not quite as fantastic, but lore wise, such an important and good boss. If I see like an extreme high or low, I'll point it out. Think of main bosses, and then I'll go through smaller ones. Rykard, oh my god, another one who sends chill at my spine every time I think of him. Very like disturbing. The boss music, oh, crawl under your skin. It feels gross to listen to, but I think that's perfect. It's a perfectly suited. I think the gameplay was gimmicky. You had to use that one sword. I still thought it was pretty fun. I like that he would like summon skulls at you at one point. I thought that was extremely cool. So I don't think it was an extreme high or low, but it's a very good boss battle. One that I think it's worth to go through. The mansion, Volcano Manor, to get all that. So up here we had Godskin. It wasn't the noble, the other god, the Godskin apostle. Those, I don't know. Actually, again, freak weirdo. I had an easy time with. I thought I summoned ahead of the boss door, thinking that I was just practicing, and I ended up defeating them in the first try. I was like, that's okay. But I like that one thing I do like, I think they were really difficult bosses in general, but I think that the game, if you actually spend time exploring the game, you will know how to fight those bosses by the time you actually get to them in Farum Azula. There's a Lich Dragon Fortisax. Again, a good boss. I really liked that one. Not like a super high or low, but a good boss. I really liked that one. Malakath. Oh! I wish Malakath is so breedable. I love Malakath. I want to marry Malakath. I do not care. I do not care if I get judgment. They wouldn't have designed him to have that much cake if they didn't want people to like him. I love Malekith dearly. Malekith is like one of the highs. It's probably like my top like 5 boss battle. I love. And the tragedy of like knowing that you this whole time you've known him as Garank and he's like been almost like weak, like only talking to you so much, like a fraction of his power and a fraction of his intelligence as Garank, but you kind of gain a deep affection for him, and you find him as Malekith, and you see him in his full glory, and you're like, ooh, delicious. But then you're like, oh, this is so sad, I don't want to fight you, I love you. Malekith, please, come to my house. I will feed you. I like my cat. You see, I have a kitty. He doesn't really like dogs, but like he can learn to live with one. Oh my god. Okay. Sorry. Morgott. I wasn't expecting to love Morgott as much as I did. I loved that battle. That was a high point for sure. Truly a great battle. Another deeply tragic battle too, because you understood like that Morgott, like he really wanted to, he just wanted to be recognized and loved by his family. So he protected Lane Delphs for so long. And like, yes, I understand when people are like, well, he was just protecting the status quo. Yeah, I agree, he was. But I think that the reasoning for him like still makes him an extremely good, like a morally good character. And I truly love him, and I think that his story is very sad because he was protecting a society that did not serve him at all. It did not love him, and it rejected him just for who he was. And we were talking before about social collateral. Morgott had none of that because his people were ostracized by his own mother, and his own mother sent him into the subterranean shunning grounds. Going through all that, the subterranean shunning grounds is one of my least favorite areas in the game, but you truly learn how terrible the Omen have it by exploring it. And then exploring all that and fighting Morgott, it really hits you very hard. That like all he ever wanted was to be loved by his family and accepted by his family, and he never in his life got that. Even when Godfrey, when he held him in his arms, Morgott was dead. He didn't get to see the love that his father had for him, and his father was full of love for him. Now, I didn't really, speaking of, in the same area over here, so I think that once I finally went to fight Godfrey, I was over it. And he hit very hard. I think that sometimes I don't know if I wasn't getting good well enough, but I just think that some of that fight was kind of unfair. So, yeah. I thought it was a very cool concept of a fight, though. And Godfrey, like, showing his love for Morgott was very meaningful to me. Radagon, I think the Radagon fight was great. I don't think the Elden Beast fight was great. I think that was kind of BS. But Radagon was wonderful. Yeah, it was a great fight. Subterranean Sunning Grounds, I think the end of that was the Mohg Part 1. Great training for Mohg Part 2. Mohg Part 2, though, again, one of the best design bosses in the game. For sure. High point, probably in my top 5. Hi, Jarvis! So, yeah, I just beaten the game, and I believe it was Frankie asked, like what my favorite and least favorite bosses are. So I'm trying to like remember, because like I'm a little sick and like it's been a while since I did like the base game, so I'm trying to think back, and I'm just like naming off, like I'm finding places, naming off the bosses and thinking about what I think of them. Mohg is a high point, I think, in terms of boss design. One of the best bosses. Him and Malekith are up there. So we got Mountaintops of the Giants. So we obviously have Malenia. I will say, oh my god, I was thinking about, so I'll go on this tangent because I'm thinking about it, but I was thinking of like, okay, which one do I think is actually harder? Was it Promise Consort Radahn or Malenia? Because that was like, ooh, it took me 6 months to defeat Malenia. Do you know how long that is? You know how much practice, but then I calculated about how much practice it took for Malenia. It took approximately, I think, with my streams, plus I was thinking of about how much practice. I didn't do a lot of practice with her, and that's why I did a ton of practice with Radahn, because I was like, I'm going to need it in order to beat this game and not take another year. So Malenia, I think it took me about 16 hours. I think for Radahn, it took me anywhere between 15 and 25. No, Malenia was 15 and 25. And then Radahn was like 14, 15 hours. So it took me less time cumulatively to defeat Radahn. But that's, I think, because I was consistently practicing. Malenia, it was over the course of 6 months. So, you know, you get kind of diminishing returns if you're not going to practice that often. Overall, I think that Radahn is the harder fight. Promise Consort Radahn. I say this sadly because Malenia took me so friggin' long. But I think that Malenia had the phase 1 ends up being a breeze when you know what to do and when you know how to avoid waterfowl dance and kind of dodge through it. Malenia becomes a lot better. Her phase 2 is really difficult. I would think that this is an almost perfect battle if she didn't have the lifesteal ability. I think Malenia is in my, like, it might be in my top 5, but maybe top 10. But Malenia is one of the finest fights in the game. So I think these are 3 of my, like, top 5-ish. Mountains of the Giants. Why do I not remember? This is a Forge of the Giants, and that's where you burn the kindling, if anyone hasn't been through that part yet. Lich Dragon. There's Lich Dragon Fortisax, and then over in Farum Azula, I forgot the name of that dragon. Malekith! Oh my god, call me! If any of you look like Malekith, send me a DM, call me. I love you, Malekith the Black Blade. You're so hot. Dragon Temple. Which dragon? Why do I... Placidus Axe! Placidus Axe is probably in my top 5. I liked Placidus Axe. That was a great fight. Probably the best dragon fight in the base game. So I think top 5. Very good fight. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't even think that Radagon and Elden Beast are in my top 5 at all. Which is weird to think. Or Dino Liturgical Town. Then you have the Godskins. I feel like I'm missing someone. Yeah, avoiding the Promised Consort attacks is way worse. Yeah, I think that especially phase 2, Promised Consort Radahn is so brutal. And that's why when I was really thinking of it, and I was, no, I think Promised Consort Radahn is actually harder. I think people are correct. Completely correct in that assessment. But what is my favorite? Oh dear, it's hard to say. Oh, and then there's friggin' Sir Gideon Ofnir. Because there are so many boss fights at the very end. I feel like they kind of threw a bunch of boss fights together. Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. I think that's kind of a low point, but his boss fight was decent. It's not great, not terrible. But not special either. I think that's my point. He wasn't that special. Oh my god, a still natural bone of the void. I liked it, but I think it had some of the bullshittery of the Elden Beast. But one of the best designed, like visual design bosses in the game. Yeah, I'm thinking of like the Deep Root Deaths as well. I talked about the Lich Dragon. Ooh. Who is the boss again in Ainsel River? So the Ainsel River. Then you have the Lake of Rot. There was like a big boss in there. I forgot. Oh my god. Who did I fight in the Lake of Rot? Sorry, it's been like years for some of these, so I like forget some of them. Elamar the Briar. He was bullshit. I did not like Elamar the Briar. He was a low point. I think a lot of the smaller bosses are low points in general. I think that the imbalance of difficulty truly made for kind of a bad gameplay experience, and I did not like it. Oh my god, the Ancestor Spirit and the Royal Ancestor Spirit. I had a glitch for the Royal Ancestor Spirit, but I'll just speak to my experience with the Ancestor Spirit. That one, no, that one is in my top 5. It's one of the best of the game, for sure. Yeah, I think that is my top 5, right? Unless there were 6. I will allow 6. So there is Moog. Royal Ancestor Spirit. Yeah, that one truly, like, it caused my emotions to really come up. I loved that boss battle, and it really makes you think, like, what right do I have to even be here, and what am I doing? Like, what am I actually doing? I've killed something like sacred and beautiful, and I've made the world worse. That's how I felt after the Royal Ancestor Spirit fighting that, like, that beautiful, it was like an elk-like creature. Absolutely stunning. So yeah, I have Moog, Regal the Ancestor Spirit, for sure one of my top bosses, which is surprising. I didn't think that would be the case, but it absolutely is the case. Is Morgoth there? I think that Morgoth would be like this number 6. We have Malekith. Oh, sorry. I'm in love with Malekith. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Unfair that he's not real. There's Malekith. Who else did I... Oh my god, why did I forget? Melania. Duh. Hello. And then was Morgoth number 5? God, I forgot. This is why I write everything down, because I forget things really easily. Oh, no. It was Placidusax. Placidusax, yes. And then I would say Morgoth is an honorable mention. That's my top 6. It's like my top 5 with an honorable mention. What is my favorite of all of them? I'm just listening to my gut and my heart right now, and I think my Malekith might be my favorite. The Ancestor Spirit Jarvis is so beautiful. I love the Ancestor Spirit. It was... Well, I'm saying it wrong, but it's because, like, I'm full of emotion. Realize my God-given right to exploit nature for golden runes. That's what your religion tells you, Gyobu Masataka Oniwa. Favorite... I can categorize them too. Favorite dragon fight. Placidusax. Can I categorize them? Best human fight is probably Melania. I think that, like, again, it's an almost perfect fight. I think there are some things that make it more BS than it should be. Because that fight is a little on the BS side. With the lifesteal and the sheer amount of aggression in Phase 2. I think they should have toned down a little bit. But Waterfowl Downs, keep that in. Keep that in. Who cares? Oh, my favorite area! Actually, I think my favorite area in the base game is Miquella's Haley Tree. Frankie. I loved Altus Plateau, but I think Miquella's Haley Tree is better. Far Missoula is a very cool design, but it might not be my favorite. Yeah, I think my favorite boss battle... My gut's saying Malekith. I loved that battle. And it was hard. I think it took me 2 streams to do. So it was, like, challenging. Phase 2 was a rush, but I still feel that it was a hard but fair battle. Like, a really well-designed... obviously, because I'm in love with this creature that is totally not human, I think that it speaks to the quality of the character design of Malekith the Black Blade. But I'm like, whoo, hello, Malekith. Please, I don't want to fight you. I love you. I feel the same with Maria. Like, when I see Maria, I'm like, no, stop this. I don't want to fight you. I'm in love with you, Maria. Just hold me close. Even if you're going to rip my guts out, it's okay. I think this explains a lot about... I'm like, I have to crawl out of bad situations. And I fucking get myself in bad situations because this is how I am. Like, oh, it's okay. You can rip my guts out. It's fine. And later I'm like, wait, this is not fine. That's not okay. Yeah, Elamir the Briar is BS. A lot of the like small fry bosses, I just low points of the game. I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of them in Elden Ring. Same thing with Sekiro. I really did not like them in Sekiro. I didn't like the experience. Gideon has the brilliant idea to fight us after we just defeated Malekith. Yeah, I know. He's like, oh ho ho, I'm certainly a match for you. I'm like, I just beat Malekith. I'm still sad to this day about defeating Malekith. That it makes me feel all kinds of ways, because, like, I don't want to fight him. But he was so loyal to Marika, and Marika left him behind. Marika left him behind. Like, no. Stop this. But aside from Miquella's Haley Tree, I think honorable mentions go to both Altus Plateau. I loved it. I adored Altus Plateau. I really liked it a lot. And Liurnia. Liurnia was beautiful. So I think if I wanted to rank it, the Haley Tree, number 1 favorite area. Second favorite area, I think it's Altus. Third, Liurnia. If I were to add a fourth, Volcano Manor was really cool. It was kind of tough, but, like, I just like goth things. And to me, Volcano Manor is extremely goth. So I liked it a lot. Yeah, it's just nice. Like, I thank you guys for asking. Because it's actually really nice now that I've beaten the game to look back, because I don't know when I'm going to boot up this game again. A lot of times I beat something and I'm like, I'm so done. Or I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go back, and then I just don't. So it's nice for me to just kind of put my thumb on the page one more time and look back. Yeah, and feel free to let me know some of your favorites as well. I would like to know. Let's see. Anything I haven't covered? Maybe like favorite and least. Oh yeah, I already kind of covered the favorite and least favorite of the DLC. Definitely favorite is Bale the Dread. That was awesome. That was an extremely cool battle. Very interesting lore when you got into it. I think I ended up being really disjointed with the lore, so I learned like a little bit really early in my playthrough. A little bit in the medium in the playthrough, and a lot in the later part of my playthrough. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if I understand this fully. I think I ended up looking at Smotown's Bale video, and it helped me understand it better. It helped me like put the pieces together in one place. Then of course least favorite was Putrescent Night. Oh, I will say my favorite side quest of the DLC, Saint Trina. Oh my god, Saint Trina, it's haunting. That is a haunting side quest, and it's beautiful, and oh my god, devastatingly sad. Like it fills me with emotion just thinking of it, and I think that's some of From Software's finest work. And like understanding what happened to her, like, and how she's still merciful to Mikola, and she like begs you to give him forgiveness, but also give him death, because she knows that he's going to be shackled into godhood, and that he's abandoned parts of himself that wouldn't allow him to make his dream of making a gentler world even come true in the first place. I think she knew that. Yes, all the Sifra River, I think it's Sifra. I feel like a bad Irish person. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a Gaelic spelling, and I'm actually quite bad at those, but I think it's Sifra River. It looks like Chauffeur River, but it's Sifra. And I say Chauffeur because I'm used to seeing like the name like Siobhan, which is like Sioban in English spelling. I think Gaelic has a complete different alphabet. So I see that and I'm like, oh, Chauffeur River. No, Sifra River. But yeah, it's some of the most beautiful stuff there too. But it's weird. I always feel oppressed when I'm down there, but I think it's because I know about how the Nox were kind of shoved down there, that they will never look at a real night sky. What they're looking at is a fake night sky, because they were punished for like being Albinaurics and wanting like basically their own life. Favorite DLC boss are Midra, Mesmer, and Bale. Good choices. Midra's good too. That's another one where, just like Rykard, you listen to the music and it feels disgusting listening to it. But I think that's the point, is because it shows how far the Frenzied Flame has gotten, and the influence of the Frenzied Flame, even on people who Mitra was like a good man. I think he got in with the wrong person. Ymir, oh my god, he is Mother. I love Ymir. It's sad what happened to Ymir, but Ymir like was just like chilling there. I think getting Ymir closer to what he wanted kind of brought him to madness, which is really unfortunate. But I really like Ymir as a character. He's very cool. Ymir is Mother. I was watching it was like a 6-hour long breakdown of the 2019 masterpiece Midsummer by Ari Aster, and they were talking about the concept of Ymir, like in Norse mythology, and how Ymir is like a mother. Like, I don't know if Ymir is like a god. I think it's like a mother god or a mother spirit. But Ymir does not have a gender. And I'm like, oh, I love that. That's like kryptonite to me. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Hear people say like Siofra makes sense, because again, like I don't know, but I've heard people say like it is Sifra, like say Sifra, like they're like very adamant about that. So I'm just gonna respect that. Again, I feel bad because I'm like an Irish American person who like part of the diaspora who never got, like in Ireland now they're giving lessons to people because Gaelic almost became a lost language. They tried to stamp it out. They did not allow it, and I love that, and I love that people are being taught now. But I don't know, because like I'm American. And during the famine, my family went to America to survive. So like I sometimes feel sad because they lost out on a lot of like that the culture that they had because they just needed to live. But I think that's the case with a lot of people and a lot of cultures of people who came to America, whether it was of their will or against their will. So it's the story of a lot of people here, I think. Yeah, Nanaya was the baddie. She was the baddie. When I think I wasn't sure what to make of a lot of the lore. I think I was getting there, like I was on the right path, but I didn't know. And then I ended up again watching Smotown, and then I was like, oh, I watched Vadi's video on that one as well. Vadi had some interesting theories about that, but I think that he made a great point and pointing out that Nanaya had this item, this stuff that was of this man that she was with before, and I'm like, you're still not over your ex, Nanaya. You have this thing of this man. It's not Mitra, and Mitra's not the man. What else? Areas, maybe. Oh, I loved Mitra's Manse. I think my favorite dungeon in the DLC is Mitra's Manse. Oh, again, goth stuff. It was fun, and I liked it, and it was short and sweet. I liked that too, and it was ooh, it felt so unsettling going through and figuring out the mystery of the influence of the frenzied flame and how they were researching it. They weren't necessarily even worshipping the frenzied flame until the Naya came along. I think they were researching it, and then Naya was like, hey, what you doing over here? I see you're dabbling into the frenzied flame. And I think that it's just the concept of the frenzied flame being so dangerous. It's like a fire out of control. It's something that you shouldn't even dabble in. You should not. Any knowledge is forbidden knowledge. You tried to like the giant sunflower. No, I didn't enjoy that boss. I think that there were good parts to it, but I was not a fan, Frankie, either. I don't think that you're wrong. I think that boss, the Shadow Tree Avatar, wore out its welcome by having a third phase, and it was super fast in the third phase. It was supposed to be like Sif at the end, when he was limping. You're supposed to feel bad for it. I don't think they did that effectively because it was still very fast and very annoying in phase 3. I'm like, no, they should have had a phase 2, and then at the end of phase 2 make it slow and limp. That would have been better. I did not like that boss. That was, I think, a low point in the DLC, but Putrescent Knight was worse. And I'm thinking of Radon too. Unfortunately, I think that Ramina, Saint of the Bud, is kind of forgettable as a boss. So I don't think that she's a high or a low, but if I were to put her somewhere, it would be on the lower side. Just because, you don't really remember her that much. And, her importance, I think, it's kind of eh. I think it goes in with the Forager Brood and the fact that, Melania kind of gave way to all these, disciples that she didn't even want in her life. And she was like, no. It shows that she, was not into the rot within her. When she gave into the rot, it was because she felt that it was, necessary to do. But, you have all these, I forget what they were called, but they're the bugs. It was basically the type of things that the Forager Brood are. But you have them, and they really love Melania. They think of Melania as a mother, and it's so sad to see that they felt left behind by her. But she didn't want anything to do with them to begin with. And then there's Ramina. That's all I have to say. I think that the Dancing Lion, kind of a high point. I really liked the Dancing Lion. I thought that was a really cool boss. Music was phenomenal. I think that the singing, God, I forget the country, but they did the sing for Xena as well. But there was I think it's a Bulgarian choir, and that's why they sing that specific way. And I love it. I'm a huge fan. I will eat it up every single time. I like that it was the horn scents are very it's very influenced by things that happen in Ireland, but also I think that the Dancing Lion was very Eastern. It's very Chinese specifically as well. Oh, love it. I thought that was phenomenal. I think it's I don't know if it's top boss, maybe it is, because there's Elden Ring DLC only has so many bosses, but I liked it. I think that was a very good boss. One of my favorite boss arenas, Rykard's. Ooh, Rykard's boss arena is very cool. And Placiduous Axe. Yeah, that was very cool too. I actually do think that where an Inner Ilum, where Promise Consort Radahn was, is probably a high point. It's one of the best boss areas to me. I kind of like where Rilana was, but it's like, it's just a room, so maybe not. Another one I loved, ooh, the Jagged Peak. Bale was like, again, Bale is fantastic. I liked his boss arena as well. And like, there's a lot of storytelling to be had in the area. Like his Bale's influence on the area too, and like all the dead, like the drakes living and like the dead dragons that were there to challenge Bale, and they could not defeat Bale. And Bale is so, I don't know if I identify with Bale, but I identify with the fact that he's like physically like quite broken, but he's still around. Like he's still annoying people. Oh my god, yes, Cerulean Coast, agreed. I think that's a high point. As for areas in the DLC, I think Cerulean Coast is like either at the top or close to the top. Even I found Charo's Hidden Grave, which I did not find before, and I was actually finding Shadow Tree fragments. Let's go there. Why not? And like that's a high point too. Like all of the Cerulean Coast is like, that might be the best area, maybe. Boss arena though, I would say Promise Consort Radahn. I'm trying to think of the other ones off the top of my head. A lot of them are just kind of rooms, so I don't know if I would count those, but like Promise Consort Radahn is probably the best boss area. But I think the best area of the DLC, like visual wise, Cerulean Coast for sure. Best dungeon in my opinion is Midra's Manse, because I like short and sweet. I think the Shadow, God, the Shadow Keep is way too big. I got burnt out of the Shadow Keep, and the fact that you had to keep going back to it, and there were continuously areas that were like, oh, you didn't go to this area. I'm like, what do you mean I didn't go to this area? I went to the area below it. I went to the side area that you don't need to go in. What do you mean I missed something? But yes, I thought it was like more annoying than anything. Ooh, actually another area. Manus, was it Manus Meteor? The Finger Birthing Grounds is a high spot in terms of the boss fight areas. The Meteor Mother of Fingers, that's the boss. I wouldn't say the boss itself is a high point, but the area is. I loved that. That was cool. It looked like you were out in space. Yeah, the research hall was like almost perfect. I loved the research hall. And I love that you could change the research hall too. That was like perfect. I think that Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 were perfect games that did not, outstay their welcome. I think there are some areas of Elden Ring that do outstay their welcome. Shadowkeep is one of them. Yeah, like, I think this game is like, as people would describe Dark Souls 1, it's like a flawed masterpiece. Like, this is a masterpiece. It's a swing and a hit, but I think there are some parts of it that, they drive me crazy. But I firmly believe that you can love something dearly, and it can drive you crazy. And then there are parts where you're like, I acknowledge these flaws in this thing that I absolutely love. But I think that's true with almost everything. Almost nothing is flawless. The Elden Ring, I've as you know, if you've even seen my reviews too, I can deeply love something but still say like, I think that it can improve on this or that and that thing. Or like, I didn't like this, but I loved this game. I will always say that too, even if I love the game and feel personally invested in it. I think one of the reasons why I've never taken off, and I don't know if I ever will, is because like, I don't know if I would ever fake like something. Or like something be like, you should play this game. The game's like trash. Yeah, this area, I did not realize it existed until I was like, I need a new Shadow Tree fragment. Ooh, doing the zigzag run. A lot of the Deathbird lore here, and just like in general death lore, which is very cool. I forget what these plants are called, but they're very, like, they're flowers that bloom in Japan, and in like a lot of anime and stuff, they've come as like to symbolize like death and things like that. Yeah, I forgot what this plant is called, but I love that they used it. So beautiful, but they look also very dangerous. And this area, in fact, is quite hostile to you. I defeated a tibia mariner over in this general area around the river. Found a lot of really cool stuff here. Did I ever see this? Whatever this was? I don't know. This is new. Oh my god, is this... No, shut up. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. I'm touching the grace, but I'm not doing this jail. Why did I discover... I've beaten this game. Stop this. I'm not discovering new things. I refuse. However, I'm putting a little marker just in case I do want to come back. Shaking my head. Spider lily, yes, but I love that. I love the symbolism of it. Extremely cool. God, I think I've exhausted things to say. Also, the finger side quest is really cool too, but I think the best one is Trina. But I did like Ymir, mother, my mother. And the knowledge we get from Ymir is great too. Ooh, the Shaman Village also. Shaman Village is a high point of spaces, but... Oh, Shaman Village makes me cry. Do I want to go to the Shaman Village? Let's end this in the Shaman Village. I just feel like it. I think you get there from here? Was this it? No, that was a church district. The Hinterland. Let's go to the Hinterland. Yeah, like... I appreciate the DLC and what it teaches you about Marika. And again, it helps explain Marika to me and like that she isn't just like pure like pure unadulterated evil, because I was like starting to be like, why does anyone like her? Like, no, I mean, you're allowed to like an evil person. I like plenty of evil characters. It's fine. But I'm just like, why do people venerate her so much is what truly vexed me. Because I'm like, oh, she's terrible, and like every evidence pointed her to being terrible, and people are like, oh. And like people's bad interpretations of her character design too. Oh, piss me right off. Like, don't piss me off. Do you stream something next week, or is it kind of soon? Oh, okay, so originally I was like hoping like, oh, maybe I could take a break. No breaks. It's October. It's gonna be October, and you know what that means. So as long as I'm feeling well, of course, and everything's going okay in life, my plan is finally to play Alan Wake 2. It's here. I have the physical edition. I have the PS5 that I like barely touched. Because again, I was determined to play it on my PS4. Because why change? And plus, again, like I really like the user experience PS4. I love my theme. I have a Gwent theme. The music is so charming. Like, you're telling me I have to sacrifice that for the PS5's UI? Not a chance. Yes, my plan next week is, if everything is going okay, I'm feeling alright. Plan is to play Alan Wake 2 to get it started. Oh my god. And, oh! Yeah, so we'll end it here. What? Yeah, I know there's like nothing threatening here. That like Marika cast this to keep the area safe, even though there was no one left. That made me cry. Like it was like, I think the first and maybe only time I cried for Marika was here in her home village. You see the moon up there. What was I saying? Oh, October plans. I'll just kind of finish it on October plans. So, first couple weeks of October, I'll be playing Alan Wake. I'm going to have a break in mid-October because some exciting stuff. I'm gonna go traveling the tail end of October, so the last like two and a half weeks of October, I will be in Morocco. So it's like a bucket list trip that I like. Ooh, I never thought that I was gonna go, and I was like, oh, I need to wait until I'm like more financially stable. And then I had like, I think it was like late last year, early this year, like December, January, I had like this really bad memory, and I won't like recall that memory, but it was like a memory of a dear relative who is gone now, and she was saying how she like never went to Paris, and like it was one of the lowest parts in her life and mine too, like to witness what was happening, and her saying that at that moment. And then she passed away years later, and then I realized it was like a flashback more like, but I was like, she never got to go to Paris. And so I was like, I gotta go travel. I gotta do my bucket list. I don't care. Maybe I'm poor. I'm going to take this entire year to plan this, because it's going to take that, and it's going to be expensive and scary. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to go solo, because I do not want to be in that position where you're like at the low point of your life being like, I never got to do this thing that I always wanted to do. And then you go through your whole life and you never do it. So that was awful. But I was like, no, I'm going to like, even if I have to muscle way through, I'm going to get it done. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my plan. Yeah, it's definitely a YOLO thing. But I'll tell you a little about the trip. So I'm gonna start it. It starts like a couple days before my birthday. But I'm gonna my dad lives near a hub airport. He lives near Logan Airport in Boston. I do not live near like a big hub airport. I have an international airport near me, but it is not a big hub airport. So like, and Marrakesh being in Africa, it's actually very hard to get to. Like surprisingly difficult to get into. Did I say Marrakesh? Marrakesh is the city in Morocco, but Morocco's hard to get to, surprisingly. So I'm going to go up to see my dad for like a day. And the following day I'm taking a trip. I'm going to have a stopover in Barcelona. But I'm like, okay, I could have a layover in Barcelona and go straight to Morocco. Or I can spend a day in Barcelona. So I'm flying off to Barcelona. And then my birthday will be like the day that I will spend in Barcelona. So I'll be in Barcelona for my birthday. And then the day after, I'm heading off to a town, like it's a city, it's a blue city called Chefchaouen in Morocco. I'm going to go to the blue city and spend little over a day there to just like explore and experience the blue. And then originally I wanted to spend a lot of time in Marrakesh, which is like the former capital. It's not the capital anymore, but it's like a very old historic city. So I'm going to spend a few days there. But I had a friend who had been to Morocco, and I messaged them, and I was like, what do you advise for a trip to Morocco? Because that's like one of my bucket lists as well. And they were like, surprising, they were like, yeah, I spent a lot of my trip in Marrakesh, and I wish I didn't. Because Marrakesh is very, it's really cool, but it's very overwhelming. It's like a sensory overload. And then in the middle of the Medina, there are a lot of scammers and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I think I understand. So I'll spend a little bit of time in Marrakesh. So I'm still spending it, and then I'm going to do a Sahara Desert tour. So I'm going off into the desert for a couple of days. Don't text me, don't bother me. I'm going to be in the Sahara Desert. But I'm going into the Sahara for a few days, and then coming back to Marrakesh. I'm just going to crash in Marrakesh for the night, because like getting into the Sahara takes like 8 to 10 hours by car, and there's no other way to get in because hello, it's the desert. But I'm gonna on the trip you could spend a couple days in the desert, or like one kind of an overnight in the desert, but you spend more time like kind of going and stopping in places on the road. So I chose the one where you spend a little less time in the desert and a little more time on the road, because the tour that I'm on stops in this city. It's a very old city. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Oh my god, what is it called? I forget what it's called, but it's on the way to the Sahara. Why do I forget? But the Medina in Marrakesh is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so I'm planning on seeing 2. God, what is it called? I forget. Aït Ben Haddou. It's called Aït Ben Haddou. So I'm gonna go stop in Aït Ben Haddou. And people, it was an area that they filmed in with Game of Thrones. Some people still live there, although a lot of people moved across the river from Aït Ben Haddou. But it was like it's a very ancient historical city where people lived and like had stores, and it's like way out there. It's very, very cool looking. And then from there, once I get back to Marrakesh, I'm actually going to take the train. There's a bullet train in Morocco. I'm going to take the bullet train over to Casablanca. And I'm only going to spend like an overnight in Casablanca. But I really wanted to go. And my dad, he loved the movie, so he's like, gotta go to Casablanca. So I'm like, I'm going to go to Casablanca. So that's my plan. And then after Casablanca, I'm just like, I'm flying back to Spain. But I'm not saying that's like a true layover. Flying back to Spain, back to Boston, back to where I am. So it's like, it's one of those trips that actually, it legitimately took, I think I've been planning it for like 9 months. It took the 9 months to plan it because that's a lot of stuff. And it's just me. I'm like, I don't have anyone helping. Well, for the finances, like I will say I have not done all of this alone. My dad's been very generous. I'm like, Dad, help. He's been very kind to me, so, because like he loves traveling too, and like he knows that I don't. Like I just haven't really traveled. Like I traveled for my sister's wedding, and she got married in Iceland, and that's like it. I went to Canada once, and aside from that, I just like, if I travel, it's usually within the United States because it's less expensive and easier, and like I'm mainly just taking care of myself, and like, oh, the rent is too high and all the groceries are high and everything's high. So yeah, have a little help on the way, but other than that, in my own life, I do my best to take care of myself. Yeah. Oh, in Morocco, apparently in October it's pretty nice. It's like, it's still hot, but like, hello, I live in the subtropics. It's pretty hot here too, but we also have humidity. But apparently it gets cold at night in October. So I'm like, ooh, I'll wear a jacket. Yeah, hopefully. Like, imagine, like, I saw some people's videos and it was like the freak times where it rained or snowed in the desert, and they're like, it's snowy in the Sahara. This is weird. But I'm hoping it's not, because I think it's a little too earlier in the year. And also, I'm hoping for no earthquakes, because there was a big earthquake in Marrakesh, I think, a year or two ago, which is really, really sad. But yeah, hoping for no earthquakes, hoping for good weather. Thank you, Frankie. Hi, Alice, how are you? Yeah, I think this is to cap off my Elden Ring stream. I am in disbelief that this is the last one, but it is time. Just kind of riding around the shaman village. The sound of the birds freak me out, but like, it's one of the few places that like doesn't have any enemies or anything. Like, it actually is protected. And it's sad to know that Marika went astray so much, especially when she was at this like extremely peaceful place where she was born and raised. Like, in the end, you like thinking that she should have just been able to live peacefully in this village. And this is like the grandmother, and the fact that she was able to turn into a tree, and the fact that the bodies of the shaman are very like pliable. So Mikola probably knew that from his mother, and he's like, I too shall become a tree. And this is where you get the golden braid. Yeah, like, this was very meaningful too. I think this is one of the top side quests. But I think this is where I'll cap it, right here in the shaman village, right here in the foot of the shadow tree. Like, what a beautiful place for Marika to be born and raised in, and like, what a shame. Like, I think the Hornsend are very cool as a people, and they did not deserve what they got. But I think that they were also like another thing where like you can like something, they're also deeply flawed, and the most evil thing they did is what they did to the shaman and the people of the shaman village. So I will be here at the site of such beauty and such tragedy. Truly a place that encapsulates what Elden Ring means. Oh yeah, I know you didn't want to participate in the ER content rat race, yeah. But as someone who hasn't played, I'd love to hear vids from you on this lore. Oh, thank you, Alice. I really appreciate that. I was saying there are a couple of videos that like I might want to make. I'm intimidated though, because I feel like there are people like Smotown who like already did a better job than me. But I felt the same way with Bloodborne too. I was like, there were people like Vadi at that time where I was like, oh, I think he did better than I could ever do. But like, the thing is that me, again, I'm, as I always say, I'm really stubborn. So if I feel that there's something of value for me to share, and or if I just feel very inspired to share it, I will. Yeah, there are definitely a couple concepts. There's definitely some like favorite and least favorite, like things I love and hate about this game, because I do have them. Again, like, I will always say that this is a flawed masterpiece, but undoubtedly a masterpiece. And in a couple like videos I don't see a lot of lore on. Even my perspective on Mikola, I feel, is different than a lot of other people's perspective on Mikola. I feel like I might, like, it's weird. The most, like, friction I've ever gotten from a video was when I just kind of explained what pronouns I used for Mikola. Like, that's, again, that's one of the reasons why I'm like, oh, I don't think that this is a safe place for me anymore. Because, like, it makes sense, because Mikola has parts of him that are masculine and feminine. And a lot of the times in the item descriptions, they call, like, Trina and, like, sometimes even Mikola by they. So I just use both pronouns for both. Oh my god, and some of the comments I got were really, like, needlessly vicious. Just because I did that, honestly, like, some minimal respect for this character, and, like, minimal respect for, like, honoring that character's, like, gender or lack thereof. But, like, that was truly a learning experience for me, as in learning about what has become of this community that I adore. The good people in the community are still there, and I dearly love them, and they mean a lot to me, and I'm happy that they exist to kind of go against that tide that's, like, I mean, it's subsuming all of society right now, but, like, even, like, in our precious spaces like these, like, it's even coming here too. Hi, Pandora's Box. Doing well. I'm actually going to cap off the stream now. Yeah, like, I have opinions. The conclusion, I do have opinions about it. I don't know how welcome they'd be, but, like, they are all based in, like, just what I feel deep in my heart, and as well, like, as you all know, I really do dive deep for this lore. It has taken me this long to get through the game, in part because I don't ever want to let the story fall behind, and it's something that I, like, love. I love so much about these games is chasing the story, and because some of the story are gaps that you do fill in yourself, so you make vids like that up here. Oh, thank you, Alice. You're so sweet. But yeah, like, I have, like, and I've said, like, a ton of, like, what I feel about Mikola. Like, I think that early on the stream I talked about, like, how I love Mikola. I think that Mikola is an extremely cool character. Very morally gray. I don't think that Mikola is pure good or pure evil. Like, I do not think he even touches the end of either spectrum. I think he lives somewhere in the middle. In the base game before the DLC, I feel that Mikola is closer to, like, that good end of the truly, like almost moral paragon. But they hint at, like, with the bewitching branch and things like that Mikola does have these terrifying powers to influence people and to control people with his charm, which they really explore in the DLC. And that's where I think the DLC kind of sends him into the gray mist of, like, morality. But I love that, and I think that the fact, like, his descent, I would almost call it, like, a descent into godhood, because it's a descent into a worse person than Mikola ever was, because Mikola was good, in my opinion. But then I think he descended into something different. But I love that. I think it's almost like, I love when, like, there is a character where you're like, ooh, this is, like, almost Shakespearean level of tragedy. Like, beautiful, like, flawed, and nuanced, and layered, like a true person. Like, I know Mikola's a demigod, but I'm like, that is a person. With all of the imperfections. But, like, with some terrifying power, and some beautiful power, too. Technically speaking, I believe Mikola is male, but described as very androgynous thing with having female. Yeah, I agree. I think Mikola's male, Trina is female, but both of them are kind of in the middle, too. Like, they could easily be non-binary as well. And I know that both of them kind of, like, live in that, like, space in between. I mean, I do, too, so I understand. So you're like, you live in, like, a space where you don't really feel like you identify with anything. So you look over at these people who feel very confident, and you're like, that's not me. Like, I don't feel like I fit. I feel like an alien sometimes. But I'm like, I get it. Mikola's kind of a freak. Going for good, but yeah. That's the thing. He's very much like a conversation of, do the means justify the ends? I agree. Really wish that they went way more into the sleep stuff. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. I would love to learn more about Trina. But I think the thing about Trina is, like, the tragedy of Trina. That's one video where, like, I haven't seen a whole lot of videos on, is, like, the level of tragedy of Saint Trina. And, like, I haven't seen a lot about, like, I have, like, one of my theories is just that, like, Trina her her main power is the power of sleep. And like, but why is it poisonous here in the DLC? But I think it's because her essence mixed in with the all the death essence from the stone coffin, which they call like, it was like a death liqueur or something similar. I think that's what made it poisonous. I feel like people like the perfumers and people like Cialier misinterpreted Trina as a poisoner and rather instead of a provider of peaceful sleep. So them, he's like peaceful sleep equals poison. Also go with the character's morality. Yeah, less persona and more two people in a body like Marika. Yeah, agreed. Agreed on that. I think that's a great way of describing it. Is dawn breaking upon the horizon? Oh my god. We chose to end at dawn in the shaman village. Brutal side that will try for godhood. Agreed. I think it takes a certain amount of ambition to desire to become a god like that. Although Miquella's intention was to be a gentle god and to usher in a gentle world. But I think the things that he was willing to sacrifice are things that you should never sacrifice in order to actually be qualified to be a good leader. And again, that's the tragedy of him. I think that Miquella, as he was pre-DLC, would have been an amazing, like, a great god to have. But I think also in order to seize that power, like even with people as well, sometimes to seize that level of power, you had to have that level of ambition in you the whole time. That is not something, like, power kind of corrupts, but I would argue that the corruption was within the person the entire time, and you only begin to see it once they rise up. This happens with bad people as well, and you're just like, were they always like that? And you're like, I think their actions got worse, but I think it was always in them. So that's what's terrible about like Miquella 2, is that like he was willing to give away those things that made him so good. His love, even his doubt and his fear. Sometimes your doubt and your fear prevents you from doing terrible things and making terrible mistakes. Sometimes your fear, like maybe you fear losing someone. So you're like, I'm so afraid of losing them, so you know what, I'm going to go for a visit. I'm going to go visit them. Like in Dune, they say fear is the mind killer, which like in some cases, yes, I think if you let it overcome you, for sure. But I think sometimes doubt and fear, like sometimes you doubt, like if you're like, am I a good person? Like you doubt yourself a little bit. I don't think that a lot of self-doubt is healthy, but maybe a little bit can be. If you're like, is this thing that I'm doing really a good thing? I have doubts. Sometimes it's okay to like explore those doubts. I'm rambling right now. I'm going to apologize, but like going down the line of like exploring the doubts and maybe why might prevent you from doing something bad. Oh, if they decide to make an Elden Ring 2, what would they cover? Maybe a prequel? I think it would have to be a prequel because there are so many, branching paths. But I don't think we need it. What I would love to see is From Software doing different things, which they're doing right now. But I think that it would have to be a prequel. I think that'd be very cool, but we already know these characters and these players. Even Radahn, we've seen him deteriorating and at his prime, so... We met our Tarnished in the second game. I'd love to see my boy. Let fear be the seatbelt and not the wheel, the hands on the wheel. Yeah, I agree, Pandora's Box. You're very wise. You're a very cool person. Also, the movie! I forgot about the movie! Oh, I'm a little scared. I hope that, I'm sure that if From Software is involved, I'm sure they'll do well. I guess for, like, anything that becomes a movie, same with Zelda, I will say I will be cautiously optimistic about it. And I think, alright, I promised. I think part of this is me being like, do I really have to, like, go Elden Ring? It's time. It's time to do it. But see the doubts and the fears. Yeah, I think that's where I'll end it. Like right here with Dawn in the shaman village. Thank you all for going on this big long journey with me. I appreciate like seeing all your comments and getting to know you guys, and hopefully we'll stick around for Alan Wake 2 starting next week. Bye bye.